I'm your host, Shaun, Trye, and we're going to introduce the panel.
I'm Kenneth.
Wesley.
Duane.
And tonight we're going to start it off with a few questions which all seem to be centered around self-esteem. So I'm going to ask the panel, what makes you happy? Do you know happiness?
I know that it's not permanent. I know that I would like to be in a conscious state of happiness more so than anything else, right? But I think, there are many variables, if you will,
Like
that kind of constitute happiness. Well, your personal set of values as it relates to happiness, how you, interact or get connected to yourself, and those things that, outside of you that kind of bring forth what's inside of you to permeate your happiness. I don't think there are any real constants with happiness as far as the emotion, because people can dictate that, places can dictate that as well as things.
Okay. Well, I know for me what makes me happy is it's the people in my life. So my son makes me happy. Simple things like a smile, hearing him laugh. That makes me happy. And then you talk about just being around certain people that can make you happy. For me, it's my friends. When we're laughing and we're joking and, it's just so simple. And a nice pair of shoes makes me happy too.
Comfortable shoes.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily
nice pair of shoes are not necessarily comfortable.
I'm not going to touch that.
No.
How about you, big guy?
Basically, I think happiness is something, you can define, you can put a value on it. Just being alive is happiness, just living every day, Once you put a value on it, then you tend to look for that value every day, because if it's not there, then you're not happy. So it don't matter, just chilling, man, make me happy. I don't define it, I don't give it a price tag, I just live it, wherever.
You don't believe there's any value in happiness?
No, happiness is what you make it. It's all over yourself, it's over what you make it. I can sit there and be like, well, happiness is when I get home and have a good dinner, but if I don't have a dinner, I'm not happy. I'm still happy.
I don't know, that confuses me, because there's some sort of value that you attribute to happiness.
Like what?
Whether
though?
it's $1 or $1 million, or it's a person, a place, or a thing.
Again, you put in. To me, happiness is moving. I can't tell you. I can't explain it. If I could explain it, then I would know I wish I do it every day. So I just whatever the days bring is what I do. If it's raining, I'm happy. If it's snowing, I'm happy. Or whatever. If I say, today is snowing, I don't like the fact I'm sad. I'm breathing. I'm alive. So I can't.
I understand what you're saying.
I can't tell you what happiness is. Happiness is.
Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own concept of what they think happiness is. For me, just peace.
Peace, happiness.
The peace is relative. Like peace, like what?
Peace needs no drama.
Okay.
No drama with my
Right.
kids. No drama with anybody that's in my life. No drama. No
No
drama.
drama. Yeah.
Just no drama. I can go home, walk in my house, quiet.
Yeah.
That's my sanctuary. I'm happy. I can go to work, go in my office, shut my door, do my work without being bothered. I'm happy.
Okay, all
See,
right.
there's no price. You're not defining it to
Right.
say this makes me happy, because the minute you do that, then the next thing will make you sad. Which means one day is stew.
Well, you have to have something to make you sad, because that defines what makes you happy.
But you see,
you have to have.
There's a measure.
Well-
There is a measure. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, because as you said, peace for real, makes you happy. But some people thrive off chaos, and that
There you go.
and still makes them happy. So
Right,
there
right.
is a measure.
There's a measure.
There is a measure.
So-
I understand Wes when he says that he
I did
doesn't
too.
want
That's
to
why I
place
said I get it.
value on it,
Right.
Because
So-
it's a conscious peace, if you will, when you start the measure. But there
Gotcha.
is one.
Let me ask you this then. What's the difference between confidence and self-esteem?
Well,
Is there a
Ooh.
difference?
Well, and that you gotta be careful with that. That's a real fine line because I tell everybody I'm an alpha male. People around me, people I work with, they say, "Oh, he's arrogant, he's cocky." No, I just confidence knowing. And put it this way, you don't have to know me or like me or talk to me. Just the air I give you might be like, "Oh, he's too cocky, or he's too arrogant, he's too confident." But the problem is this: I'm cool with myself. I don't care how you feel about me. I'm a man. You know, before anything else, I was a man. So if I walk into a room, I'm like walking my head up. So if you can look at that as some people like the fact once you come across too arrogant, too cocky, especially with work, they're like, "Well, you always got to say the lie. We always got to go ahead and throw the monkey wrench in the game." Whereas I said, because that's the kind of person I am. I got aside, I'll talk about work, the kind of work I do. But some people who don't understand me, they be like, he's too cocky, he's too arrogant, it's just being an alpha male.
This is a really good question because I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's the difference. I think they're very similar, self-esteem and confidence. I mean, I think outwardly, if someone, you know, you look at someone and you can say whether they have, you can see whether they have a high self-esteem in themselves or not. So it's the outside perception, I guess, of confidence. What does somebody think of? What does somebody think of your confidence? That's, I guess, is the self-esteem. I'm still trying to figure it out because they're both.
We are creature of habits. We kind of flare to what society put on us. If we didn't, like I look at Barack. He got swag. He's very confident. But people be like, "Oh,
how do you know that?
How do I know that?
Right.
The way he carries himself. Again, we are judged by our peers. We are judged by our
I don't think that there's a
association.
difference.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a
Yeah, I
difference
think they're
between
very
confidence.
similar.
I think it's
they're
one and the
very
same.
similar.
I think it wasn't defined because you said self-esteem. You know, do you have it? And therein lies two different levels of the measure, because you can have high self-esteem and low self-esteem. You just said self-esteem.
Okay, but you can be confident.
you
You
feel what I'm
can
saying?
have a lot of confidence. You can have a little confidence.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You
So-
self-esteem in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? If I have low self-esteem or high self-esteem, right? Boom, you talk about confidence, right? Well, if I have low self-esteem, the chances are my
the
confidence
is
level
low.
is low.
Low.
And that's what I'm saying. It
Got it.
wasn't quite defined as to what level of self-esteem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they're very similar. I can't really distinguish them. Confidence and self-esteem.
Okay, well, since we on confidence, do you consider yourself a confident person? And if you do, by what measure?
Okay. I think that, you know, for myself, there are always my normal everyday attitude is confident, but there are periods when I can be intimidated, right? Not to take away from the constant, right, feel of confidence, but it can come into question when faced with certain issues. And if I come into a room, I have to assess the terrain. You understand what I'm saying? I need to see. For me, I need to like view, right, who's who, what's what, right? And once I lock into that, you know what I'm saying, then I can kind of place myself where I need to be.
Gotcha.
I think confidence is the self-talk that you give yourself. You know, am I a confident person? Yeah, because of the self-talk that I have that goes around in my head. That if it's something that's put in before me, I know that I could do it. I don't really care what anybody else says.
You know what?
That's the whole. I don't care what anybody around. I know what I think. I know what I can do.
And
That sounds good.
And I
That
sound, you
sounds
know what,
good.
Kenny? I used to think. I used to say that it used to be things that intimidated me, but I think that I have experienced some things, and I know you know what I'm talking about, and I've been through some things in life that I can't think of anything right now that would make me pause. It might make me pause,
Right.
but just for a moment.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
And I say that because if somebody did it before me,
Right.
if they did it, then I can do it.
I can do it.
So
It's
I
like, and I get you. I get you. Trust me, I get you. But you know, and you know what kind of, you know, basically what kind of work I do.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So I'm among.
We don't know what kind of work you do.
I'm actually a therapist.
Okay.
Right. And I work amongst medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, right? You know, surgeons. You know, so that I interact with on a daily basis. So I gotta keep my game tight and sharp. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm in a realm that is totally out of my discipline, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm interacting with these people, I need to actually find my place or my niche as to how I can interact.
Okay, but
Right.
that's the question I can ask you. You say you're alpha male. and being an alpha male, when we
I think
approach
most
her?
alpha males would say they're alpha males and not alpha males.
Okay, but let me just ask this question, and basically, do you know when to recognize and when to adjust being an alpha male?
That's exactly what I was
That's
saying.
what he said. That's what he
That's
served
exactly
the
what
lane.
I'm saying.
Served the lane.
And
Because
what-
I'm sorry. Because what happened is this, most people, and what make you such a, I would be like a confident or whatever you want to call it. What I believe in, you gotta be diversified. You gotta know when to turn on, when to turn off. Because what happened?
Turn on and turn off confidence?
Well, no, knowing your audience. Like for instance, he said, for instance, I go to an interview or something, and the person interview me. Already when I walk in the room, I know already.
What you basically saying is you need to be able to fit in wherever you at, wherever
Well,
you
you need
are.
to have a volume level
Right, you
for
can
it.
fit in.
But no, what I'm trying to say is, I call it you gotta be diversified. You gotta
Right,
know.
I got it.
I don't call it volume, but you gotta know
Diversify.
the audience, know your audience, know what
I
you
know
what
What
you
he's
I
saying,
can't
if he
talk
go in
about-
the hood, Shaun, he can relate. If he go in a corporate
Yeah,
building,
and
he
that's
can
why
relate.
I mean I just turn
Yeah,
it
but
to turning it down when you know
Right.
when you need to adjust your levels.
And it's
Okay.
like I said, I can't talk to a neurosurgeon, you know what I'm saying, about brain surgery and the intricacies of that, you know what I'm saying, and the core of their discipline. You understand what I'm saying? But I can segue myself or interact with them on a level that and be able to have a dialogue relative.
But I get it. But just because I'm not a brain surgeon, don't mean I'm gonna be intimidated by a brain surgeon.
Well, if you're
'Cause that's
talking
his
about
discipline.
doing brain surgery,
Right, I get it. Well, I'm not gonna be talking about brain surgeon to a brain surgeon because that ain't my thing.
but
Because you know how to
again,
turn down your confidence level,
Right.
your level.
Okay, the question is this: if you get a presentation to a C-level exec, and you're a very hard and technical person, okay, and you're trying to sell, you want to basically deploy a project, and it costs $1 million. Half of the guys on the table don't even know what voice over IP is. All they know they got money. You're talking to this audience. What I'm taught, how you adapt to them in that room to make them understand what you're trying to sell them. And that's why I said basically, you don't have to be the dummy yourself down, but knowing your audience, who you are. You can be, but being too confident, being too cocky.
you have to do recognizance.
There you go.
You feel me?
So question, can you be friends with a non-confident person? Person who has zero confidence? I think we all know somebody.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that.
if we all know somebody, that mean that we answer that question.
Well,
Well, not
Yeah,
necessarily
I could
can
be-
you, but can you be friends
are
with
they
them just because
friends,
you
right?
know
I
them?
think
When
the
you
key
say
are
can you
they-
be
are
friends, when
they
you say
friends?
can I associate
Well,
with
can
them?
you? I mean, I know for me, and I know people from all different walks, and there are a lot of people that, lack the confidence, the level that maybe I have. It's kind of it's difficult to be around them, a majority of the time because they start soaking and they start draining you. That's what I think personally. People like that who, they do a lot of negative talk about themselves, about the people around them, and really it's because they lack confidence in whatever it is. But I find that, everybody has a place, but there's certain people,
Do they
those
lack
types of
confidence
people,
or do they lack self-esteem?
where you can't instill them with confidence. It's nothing that you can do. It's just who they are. So you don't spend as much time with them.
And Kenny, you know my rep. I'm of a mindset of everybody got value. Even that person with no confidence got some value.
Right.
So to answer your
And I'm not
question,
taking away the value.
Right.
I agree with you on that.
So to answer your question, you said, could I be around a person with low self-esteem or that lacks confidence? Absolutely, because what that person eat don't make me, it's because it ain't gonna rub off on me.
Well, we're going to take a break now and continue this lovely conversation in a few.
Okay, switch out. Welcome back, and the question on the table was, can you be friends with a non-confident person? Angie.
I think that it's not you. If you have a friend that's non-confident, I mean, I think that there's a way that it may create some type of balance, and it also may help you to inspire, that non-confident friend. So, sometimes you may not attract all the perfect people that are as confident as you, but sometimes those that may see something in you that may help build their self-esteem or build that confidence level in them.
I think it's a must. I think it's a duty, right? Because again, and when you talk about confidence, low self-esteem, high self-esteem, right? There are often people in our lives that have been shunned for that very purpose, right? And the more you shun them, the lower they sink. I think it's a must. I have a few friends who may not be as confident as I am, right? And I think that, as you stated, people feed off your energy, right? Which then brings them to a level that at least they're able to express themselves, right? I said, you have people with low self-esteem, and you have people who are just shelled or in shells, right? And a lot of times, right, just because you interact with those individuals, right, you can bring about change in terms of their high self-esteem versus low self-esteem and their confidence. So I think it's a must.
See, that's kind of like a double-edged sword per se, because I was taught like from a different cloth, meaning show me your friend, I don't have to know who you are, and I can determine where you're coming from. You do what I'm saying? Basically, if I say I know Duane, and somebody know Duane, okay, he's cool. Well, you gotta say it because they know what kind of Duane is. But if there was a low confident person, they'd be like, Wes, why you hang with Duane? You know, so brothers and fellow
That ain't your business.
No, that ain't your business.
My relationship with Duane is my relationship with Duane.
But you see what I'm getting at, I'm trying to throw a monkey wrench in it, because although you're gonna build that person, but it's a thin line you walk, because it's like a reference. If Duane wants a job, Wes, I use my reference, and they're calling me. He's basically, what I tell them is based on what I know about Duane. So basically,
I get that.
I'm basically I'm walking his shadow, walking in my shadow. So again, although he's less confident or he's lacking certain things in life, it's my duty, like you said, to grow him, because I will be judged by him. Your friends,
Well, if I kind of beg to differ, and I'm gonna tell you why, because we're talking about two individuals, right? Right. If you know Duane, right, and say for instance you know me, and I'm not as confident as Duane, when it comes to a point where I have to define who someone else is, it's not my job.
Okay, have you ever heard the saying,
It's not my job.
True your life, my life with Shaun?
That's if in fact
No.
if we're in circles that involve.
circle you run in.
Why are we talking about circles?
Right.
Would you extend your circle to a person that's not as attractive as you, doesn't dress as flashy, or doesn't dress like you, or is 3 or 4 sizes larger than you? Would you extend your circle of friendship to a person like that?
Certainly.
Why?
Again, what somebody's attitude and disposition is does not totally define who they are or what your relationship can be with them. I think that, because generally what I do and how I was raised, right? Everybody, right? And on a circle, and in your circle, if you will, people you interact with on a regular, right, deserve the same opportunity to be treated with the same respect as anyone else. I mean, I know about the fat kid at the hot dog stand. You feel what I'm saying, right? Most of them end up being cops. No, I'm just playing.
I was a fat kid at the hot dog stand.
I was taught not to judge people, number one. And I welcome anyone. And to me, I don't care if you're not attractive, or whatever, I don't define somebody by that. And part of that is too also driven by the type of job that I have. I'm in PR, I'm a publicist. I could have the greatest client, and that greatest client can be 6'4", maybe big. Yeah, so 5'6", not very attractive. It's what someone brings to the table, and what someone has in their heart.
But let's not, again, it's like I always say, it's a thin line you walk when you're defining circles, when you're defining friendship. I give you an example. We are, for instance, I took the NFL, right? Look at the kid, look out at Ray Lewis, your Baltimore Glory boy. He's tough.
Actually, he's a Florida Glory boy.
Okay, Florida Glory boy, but he played for the Ravens, he retires for the Ravens, so I give that to him. I'm not a biggest fan of Ray Lewis. I know it's sorry, Ray, out there. But basically, if they found out Ray, as macho he is, what's gay? The perception, listen, we in a society that we are judged strongly. Forget about our personal life. We live for society. We don't live ourselves anymore. Everything we do is judged by somebody else sitting across from you. They don't care if you rich or poor. People judge you kind of friendship-wise. So
I get that.
So no, for instance, I give an example. I'm Morgan State. I read a paper about a month ago. this cat applied
For the Kappa.
but Kappa. And the Kappa
They
turned out
denied
that
him
he was
down
gay.
because he was gay.
So
I
that's
found that hard to believe, all them gay Kappas.
But I mean, you know,
but again, you're becoming the brother of a brother who's quote unquote walk with the hands up, quote unquote, the Kappas, you know. Right? So because that dude is gay, he continue our reputation. Again, he will be part of a friendship, a brother who's you'll be judged by that individual.
Oh, I get it. I get everything y'all saying, and I actually feel the same way. But I got, you know me, I got to play devil's advocate.
Right.
The funny part is, you have to ask yourself, would you actually even go on, unless you are put it in an environment, right, where you got to deal with this unattractive person? Would you even engage in a conversation with this unattractive person if you weren't put in a situation where you had to?
Yes.
And that's the question.
Yes.
You know.
And again, right? And I want to go back to something you said about we're taught not to judge, however we do it anyway. I don't care what your mouth say, right? I know, and it goes back to the question, right? Who do I want in my circle? That's a judgment. Okay? Boom. Now, if in fact, right, gay, straight, whatever the case may be, right? If you and I are cool, we cool. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit back here, right, because Wesley say, man, he gay. Okay, well, he may be gay, but he's a really good person to be around, right? I can grow from this person, not only from a perspective of a general interaction, but everybody has something to offer, man. You know, and I've dated ugly fat women. Right? For whatever my purpose was. You understand what I'm saying? They served the purpose. Okay? So, yeah. Any outside?
Okay, that's Kenny. I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. Woo! Is your best friend a relative or a childhood friend?
If I was to be philosophical, I would say I'm my best friend. But I'd be lying because I cause myself the most harm.
Right.
Right? And no, my best friend is not a childhood friend. My best friend is someone I met about maybe 8 years ago. People that I've considered, because see, you know, we should evolve as human beings, right? And where I was raised, from whence I came, wasn't exactly a savory neighborhood, right? So some of my influences weren't all of that positive. So those particular
DC
people
man like yourself.
in those circles, right,
I can tell.
basically showed me a different way to go about life. And I chose them to be friends. That's before I understood and knew how to define the word friend.
And that's the trick. People put that title on things
It's
without
used too
understanding what what a true friend really is. If I had to answer that question, I would say that my best friend wouldn't be a relative, and I would say that she would probably think that she's not my best friend, but
Right.
she is.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Sometimes I love her, sometimes I hate her.
I don't. That's right.
You know, but at the end of the day, still my best friend.
Right.
You know, but I agree with you, Kenny. I think that how you were raised and how you look at people defines how you treat people. You know, and sometimes people have to understand you. You know, like if I'm a person, the people that know me know that they may call me today, and I may mean to call them back today, but I may not call them back
for 3 days.
For 3 days.
You know?
It doesn't mean that I'm disrespectful. It doesn't mean that I don't love them. I love them any
But if
less.
you're my friend,
But if
you
you're my
know
friend,
that.
you understand. And
You
you
know that.
Right. So I just think that it comes down to understanding, truly understanding the word one, friendship.
Yes, sir.
And two, knowing how to appreciate the person that you call your friend.
You know, I seen a movie, and I want to interject this real quick. Like, I don't know if anybody else seen Tombstone.
Absolutely.
Doc Holliday.
True
Doc Holliday.
friendship.
I know what you're talking
True
about.
friendship.
But I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, say you go to Tombstone. I'm a big Tombstone fan.
So am I.
That's
I
my
love
movie, man.
Tombstone.
That's my
I can watch
movie.
it 100 times.
Yes.
Still see something new
Get
every
misty
time I
and
watch
everything,
it.
man, for
Yes.
real. But that's how you know
but
you're
You
the
talking about
question
the
is
scene on the horse when they shooting in the lake,
Right.
right?
Right.
He said, now what you gonna do? Walk on water?
Yeah,
exactly.
But the question is this. The question is this about what do you call a friend? I think that's where I kind of fight with. Who do I call a friend? Because that's kind of tricky, because I figure when you get of age, like when you pass like 35 years old, you don't make best friends no more. You got social pals, you got associates, people you do stuff with. I think your best friend, like I would say my best friend came from boarding school, because in boarding school, we basically lived together as one family. But coming to the world and meeting people, from 35 to 40 years old, I don't make best friends no
Man, let
more.
me tell you something. I know people that I've known for
No,
40-something years.
now what I said
Right? I
define.
ain't tell my age, but I've known some people that I've known for a very long time. That don't make them my best
No,
friends.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this.
What defines it?
What defines who you call your best friend? Because I can call you my best friend because what you do for me. But am I your friend? Nah.
but
I'm
I
just,
think-
like you said earlier, you serve a purpose in my life at that particular time. So what I call my best friend is somebody, really, I don't have a best friend. It's kind of scary. I don't. Because I always feel I'm people's friend. I'm friend to you, then you friend to me. Because I'm gonna look out for you. Because and the funny part is that when you start expecting people to treat you the way you treat, because you're my best friend, get your feelings hurt. So I just leave it wide open.
But then who's the expectation is then on you, right?
Exactly.
And again, if you seen, like you said, you've seen Tombstone.
Yep.
That defines a friend, as far as I'm concerned, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen Tombstone,
Yes,
right?
I've seen
Okay.
Tombstone.
But, and I think the niche to
That's
friendship
an excellent
is.
example.
Yeah, it
Doc
is,
Holliday
man.
and-
Yeah, it
and,
is,
Wilder.
man. I think the niche to understanding and being able to define a friend, you feel that. You know what I'm saying? You feel that it goes without words. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't have many. I might have
have
three.
So would you consider a friend as a person that you confide in your most intimate thoughts?
Yeah, without a doubt.
But that's gonna trigger it again.
And it's trust.
Yeah.
And
Being
trust,
able
you
to
see,
trust.
trust, and it's just one of those things.
Trust.
I'm the kind of person who holds things in. I'm my own psychiatrist. I'm my own consultant. Basically, I
can tell. No,
I
you-
talk. No, that's okay.
Yeah, but it's
because
good. It's
I
good.
believe in myself. You gotta figure a secret of one is my secret. If I don't tell you my secret, I can lay you in the bed for 20 years. I got something in my heart because I'm afraid the minute I tell you, I become a slave to you because you know something of me that I got to trust you with. So I'm afraid that to trust you because if I tell you something that ain't there to my heart, and tomorrow morning you just made a mistake and you mention it, I'm like,
Do you think it's a cultural thing for you?
no, according to, it's just basically the lifestyle I chose to live, the walk I tried to walk. Because basically, man, if I say you're my dog or you're my brother, and if I tell you something or if I go through you something, it's forgotten about. We don't speak of it. For instance, I give an example. A friend of mine, he's overseas today. He's been deported. Hopefully, he don't watch the $yfactor. And then I told him, he said, I would never
I'm gonna
ever.
send him the tape.
No, I told him I would never ever. And pass that West, man. If you ever. And I took it to heart. And I was like, man. And all this day, he called my phone. I teased him. I said, dog, we good. He'd be like, man, I can't believe I did that shit. And excuse my friend, I can't believe I did that. And I'd be like, man, you didn't. I said, don't worry about it. But he's not my best friend because after he got sent home, the friendship changed. Distance,
Friends change.
it changed. And I started
So do
seeing
you
him.
talk about sex with your best friend?
Certainly.
My best friend is a male. And this is the thing when you're talking about best friends and I spoke on trust and things like that. Sometimes, for me, I have a male best friend and I have a female best friend. When it comes to when you're talking about sex or just certain information that I want to learn about males, I go to my male best friend. And certain things that I think, it's female or related, things like I'll go to my female best friend. So
That's a conflict for me, because I look at a best friend as one individual. I just my way of thinking. I get it though. I see going to two different friends, but relative to my best friend, right? I think that I know that my best friend knows all of my most intricate, issues and intimacies, right? Whether it be, excuse me, whether it be about sex or playing basketball.
And don't judge you.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if you judge me.
And see, a best friend is going to be that person that's going to tell you when you're wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
They're not going to always agree with you
Right.
because they don't always agree with you. But you don't. I don't need nobody around me that's gonna stroke my ego.
Yes, sir, boss. Yes, sir.
I don't
boss.
need that around me. If you can't tell me,
Stevie
you
and
can't call me
Django,
out,
right?
right? If you can't call me out and say, D, you wrong.
Right.
Then you're not bringing anything
feed
to
malice.
me.
You feed
right,
malice.
right.
And that's what I would want, that honesty in a best friend. And for me, I don't really have like that one best friend. I mean, I don't know. I just don't have that one special best friend.
I get
So
that.
yeah.
I get that.
So that's why you said you got the man when
Right,
you got the female.
right.
But I said earlier, I'm my own best friend. Like you said, I cost myself.
Yeah,
my own
if
harm.
I was to be philosophical,
I
right?
I'm my own because when I do something alone, it stays there.
Right,
don't need a
and that
co-defendant.
that brings me. Your statement brings me to the next question, which is: has the person that you consider your best friend ever betrayed your confidence? And if they did, how did it affect the relationship, and were you all able to mend it?
I had that problem.
No, I haven't either.
Never had that problem.
Basically, I'm my own best friend, so I gotta talk to myself.
Well, you have that problem all the time.
Yeah, he got that problem with himself.
Army of one. I just deal with it and keep it moving.
Right.
Because I figure, man, you know,
I'm
my
going
dad,
to the gallows by myself,
My dad
right?
once told me, he said, son, a lot of doors in life, I'm gonna walk with you through. I said, in those, walk by yourself. Nobody can walk you through them doors. Then we determine who your best friend is. Because I said, indoors, your dad got stands and watch you go through it. But like, you gotta go through this door by yourself. I can't help you. So knowing that in my mind, every decision I make, every mistake I make, I don't blame nobody. I blame myself.
Why do you think that the most popular TV shows depict women bickering and fighting amongst each other? Like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, L.A. basketball, the Braxton, even the gospel girls,
Murrill.
Love and hip hop.
Love and Hip Hop. Why do you think that?
Can I speak
Absolutely.
to that?
I want you to jump on that.
Okay. It's not, well, we all know it's not real. I mean, normally, the everyday woman.
No,
Okay, Kenny. What I'm saying is the everyday woman, I mean, me and my friends look at that, or, you know, and the everyday woman, first of all, I mean, don't mitigate a lot of that drama. You know, if they're too busy with, you know, raising their families, they're too busy in their careers, they're too busy, you know, and the last thing, well, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but for most of the females that I know, that drama is the last thing that they want to hear, day in and day out. So,
I think
I just-
and you make a point because of your circle, right? Because depending on where I am, I can see, you know, the career, you know, woman who is sound and directed, right? But if I'm somewhere else,
right.
I see the Atlanta. I call them something else, but I see the Atlanta, you know, and I see the Braxtons, and they're round the way girls.
But see,
You understand what I'm
here's
saying?
the question.
Okay,
Here's the question.
I understand what you're saying.
Go ahead, Duane.
What's the teach our young girls though? When they watch these shows, right, and they see these things going
is
on? What do
scary.
you think that they get from this? Because they kind of idolize these Marys and the Braxtons and
the Nenes.
and the Nenes and yeah.
you
So what do you
know,
think is teaching them?
Who's the Nene?
Who's
I don't
Nene?
watch it. So
Nene
I don't
is the
watch it.
big troglodyte, man. That's,
The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's,
go ahead,
it's not positive. I mean, it's not positive. It's more stereotypical,
Right.
you know, for our young women to watch this, and they're not learning anything.
You see, the funny part is this, though. This is the
not
funny
learning
part to it. People actually try to live their life. That's a scary part.
You know, it's been a rise in female fights and assaults that have been exploited on YouTube and another
World Star Hip Hop.
Oh my
right?
gosh, I've
and
seen
and
those.
I think a lot of it has to do with those influences, but I also believe more than anything else, it stems from where you hail, from whence you came.
Bang,
You know,
bang. I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Right.
Bang,
And-
there it is, Kenny.
And
That's so true.
unless I'm being
true.
groomed,
Right.
right,
Right.
to be an Atlanta I called him something else, right? Or opposed to Michelle Obama.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whatever I feed it, it's gonna grow.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm in total agreement with you. If you were raised to know better, then you look at that show and you know better.
Exactly.
If you don't know any better, because a lot of these young girls today are being raised by
Young
parents
mothers.
not that much older than they
Exactly.
are. You know, maybe
And that's the tragedy.
10 to 12 years older than what they are.
That's the tragedy.
So they look at that stuff and they honestly believe that that's the reality. That's a reality for them.
But again, you're right. And I was somewhere, I won't say where I was, another show, I won't call it. But basically, I tell people is you wonder why when you're walking down the street and the guys in the car call you names and you get mad. Why are they calling me names? Well, hey, you're putting that out there. So you get mad at
That
them.
don't give them the right.
No,
I get what you're saying.
When I say
but that
call their
don't-
name, basically doing, I make this easier. If I came to your job dressed up, pants down my butt, my shoes not tied, hoodie and walk in your office like, man, what up? You'd be like, excuse me? Even if I was a decent dude, my first impression of you, until you get to know me,
Yes.
you'd be like, then after be like, oh, okay, he's cool. He's just going through a phase in his life, but he's okay. But again, I would see the first thing we see is that first appearance. It's,
you know what?
It's sticking in mind.
Again,
first
I would.
appearance is overrated, though.
I would be there, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I'm gonna tell you why I agree with you, Kenny, and I can talk about it now because the investigation is over with. We had an investigation at BCCC, right, with people stealing some stuff, right, giving people some false credentials and ladies stealing money. So this one young man brought this paperwork in. He had the dreadlocks, pants hanging just like you said. First thing I said was, this kid is a piece of crap. For myself, I didn't say it out loud. This kid ain't nothing but an old street thug, and he probably took his own money, right? I judged him before I even said 2 words to him.
First
I
impression.
started talking to that kid. He was the most articulate kid I've ever spoke to since I've been at that college. His mother's a doctor, and his father's a doctor.
But guess what now? You just said some key words. Mother doctor, father doctor. He's not a doctor.
But again,
Let me
He got
finish.
his friends.
But again,
Let me finish.
But again,
But-
go ahead.
But and he was, everything he said, he was telling the truth about. But I immediately, because of the way he was dressed, I judged him without even talking to him.
Okay.
And I immediately said everything he was saying was a lie. And everything, not only was the young man telling the truth, but we found out because of him coming through, because he had did everything. He had went to class every day. He had taken his test and was scoring high grades. But the woman that was supposed to register him took his money and dropped him. So even though this young man was sitting in class, he didn't even know that he wasn't even in class.
Let me give you an example, Duane. Let me give you an example. And I call this, I call this profiling. I'm driving my car on the side of the evening. I'm dressed down. I mean, I listen to my J. I'm chilling, smoking a cigar, roof open. I'm coming down from Virginia. Stiff trooper sees me. He's sitting on the side of the road. He passed 3 cars, came on the side with me. So I'm not afraid of this dude. So I'm in my same mode because I'm not paying no mind, not in the heart. He gets behind me, blue lights goes off. Well, he want to pull over. He walks to my car. Like you said, he started basically treating me. It'll say I was something from another planet. But when he started talking to me, he came about his whole demeanor changes.
brought it down.
But you
Brought it down.
validate the point. That first impression.
Like what I said,
all that impressive.
But again, we are taught basically. People in society. I will go to society. I'm not going to start. I put on the broad range. Again, when you see, for instance, if that cop come to the car and I'm like going off for him already, like you said, his perception worked.
Because see, let me just throw this out here, right? Because if you knew me, right, from another life, right, then your impressions of me, and even now sometimes depends on how I'm dressed, right? The first impression is that I'm the same dude,
Street,
right?
But they don't even know you working on your PhD. He working on his PhD.
You know,
Well,
and the
he gonna
thing
judge
is,
him.
right, I pride myself on being able to talk to George Clinton or Bill Clinton, right? Which means when 1 time or 5-0 the police showed up, right, I'm gonna put on my good hat, even if I'm a bad dude.
But again, off the
It's
break.
it's Maslow's
From a police's
first-
perspective,
first-
absolutely.
It's Maslow's first hierarchy of need, self-preservation.
Yeah, you know what? Have y'all ever heard of the guy Anthony Jones?
The same
Murderer? No, Anthony Jones, the murderer from Baltimore City, the drug kingpin from Baltimore City.
Right.
He was doing all his murdering. He's locked up for 144 years. When
How
I
you
was
do
in
that?
patrol,
You know how you do that?
when I was in patrol, and I talked to that young man, I never knew that he was the type of person that he was
Exactly.
because he was polite, he was articulate, he was never disrespectful to me or anybody that wore a uniform. But he killed his own brother because he thought his brother was snitching. So this was a ruthless guy. But like Kenny said, he learned how to be a chameleon.
But again,
He learned how to be a chameleon.
you're right, and I respect that. Again, he's adapting to this environment. He knew he had to do it to make it across the river. He knew he had to do. He can't be gangbanging me and be stupid with it. Come
So
on,
you
off on the street.
validate our point.
But the
Right.
point I'm trying to make is this:
First
you are-
impressions
but
don't
again,
always mean-
but
don't mean nothing.
It don't mean nothing. But again, we are judged upon that every day, whether we like it or not.
But
Until you get to know that individual,
I agree
your
with
first
you.
impression with them
I
is that I'm
understand
not going
what
to
you're
deal with
saying.
him.
I get
Until
I
I
get
get
it.
to know him, I'm not going to deal with him. And then we realize, man, he's a cool cat. You know, he's okay.
Well, I was just thinking about the Seattle Seahawks, Stanford.
Sherman.
Sherman.
Yes.
Stanford.
Sherman. I said Newman. Sherman.
Stanford.
Stanford.
you know,
Just because he ranted, all of a sudden he was, perceived as this thug.
right? And he made the comment, Stanford thug. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an oxymoron. But
Right.
some of y'all wouldn't know that.
Right,
You feel me?
right.
Right.
What makes a person jealous? What you think? What do you think makes a person jealous?
Insecurities.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Stole the words
Good
right out
answer.
of my
Good
mouth.
answer. Good answer.
Self-hate, right? Insecurity, self-hate.
Insecurity.
What about an insecure person that would make you jealous? Give me an example of what you're talking about.
For instance,
For the
right?
people that don't
for
really
instance, you have a girlfriend or friend that's really attractive, right? And you may not be used to being with such an attractive woman. And whenever she goes out, you blowing her phone up, right? Somebody speaks to her, right? You want to put on your knight in shining armor hat because you don't want somebody or you feel that someone may be able to infiltrate, right? And conquer her, if you will, right? If that's, pleasant enough to say, right? I think that jobs in your everyday employment, right? I mean, your interaction with coworkers sometimes, right? Insecurities, and like I said, I mean, some days I have to regroup, right? Go back and flip some pages, right? Because if I know I'm going into a meeting with certain people, I'm gonna do my homework before I get to the meeting because I'm not secure with the answer, with the questions. I'm not
they might throw
exactly.
at you.
This my thing. You made a good point about jobs insecurity. For instance, I'm not going to go there, but you probably follow me if people in the environment I'm in, people are not promoted or given based on
Performance.
performance, based on merit, based on incentive and credentials. They're based on you get things because of tenure. He's been about 20 years, so let's give it to him. So when you meet a brother or a sister who's on point,
Yes.
he get insecure by you. They didn't even know you. So now you got to learn how to deal with an individual who's now he try to poison you because he feel like this guy he's doing
a
stuff I
threat.
can't do.
You're
I'm a
a
threat
threat.
to him.
Right.
So his insecurity, and not be his job is he don't know what he's doing. He's been there for 20 years and he still can't do his job. And they bring this young cat in and he call him out. So wait till he's gonna do it to you. He's gonna try to get rid of you because you figure he's
What
not.
we call skunky.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of people out here like that. But what do you think about these guys like Steve Harvey's that make these books that tell women how to keep men or get men? And what do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that?
You might want to start because I'm a.
Do you, as a woman, do you even really care what men want? Do you?
I mean, I've read his book. I've read his book.
What did you really think of that book, honestly?
It's not.
I think he made some money.
Yes, that's basically. I don't think it was anything any different than maybe what I've learned from my father, from my uncles, from my brother, from my male friends.
You got a 90-day rule?
I think Don't tell them. Because you got sharks are in the water.
And you got 90 day rule.
Now he does make some points that
Really?
you
Really? Listen,
should.
let me say this to
No,
you.
I'll say this honestly. I think it depends on the person and the situation.
Gotcha.
And I think if you communicate intentions up front, and if you're pretty honest up front, and you'll know where things will lead.
Let me say this, and we talked about it all the time. I think that that's one of the funniest things that I've ever heard a woman say, 90-day rule. Because you can make him wait 90 days for you,
Right.
but he ain't gonna wait 90 days for sex.
You know,
And if
amazing,
his
man.
intent is to bed you, then he gonna wait 90 days.
And then
He
what
gonna play
happens-
your game.
Right,
You know,
right.
We on the 89th
Right.
day, bang, you know what's up. No,
Exactly.
I thought a couple things, and I think a couple things about Steve Harvey as well. And I respect the brother and his accomplishments, right? But I think sometimes, right, we get desires above our head, right? And a lot of what has been represented not only in the book but in some of his ranting on his show, right? Us more opinionated and based on his own experiences and a lot of stereotypes, right? You know, I respect the brother's work to a point, but you can't. I don't believe any individual should go out and pass their own opinions and experiences on what's supposed to or what they believe is gospel.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you may have a brother that's with in a relationship that may be exhibiting some similar things that he discussed in his book or in some of his rantings on his radio show, and the brother's intent is nothing and correlated with what's been fed,
that's the
and now
thing.
the
And
woman
that's
is
the-
being influenced.
Right, and that's the thing. Women need to understand that just because a man want to sleep with you the first day, don't mean that he don't want to be with you for the rest of his life. What happens, that depends on you,
Right.
whether he walk away or whether he stay. Same thing with y'all. You know, you might see a guy and you might say, well, I'm gonna make him wait 90 days, and then you make him wait 90 days and you break him off, and you say, well, I done wasted 90 days of my damn life for
He ain't even like that.
for a saltine, and I thought I was getting a Ritz cracker.
It's a Ritz.
Yeah.
All
So,
you got was one rib. You know what I'm saying?
so why do you think, with that being said, why do you think people stay in unhealthy relationships?
Why do they stay in unhealthy relationships? A lot of times it's, I don't know, they get complacent, you know, insecurities sometimes may drive them to stay. Those are some of the examples.
Creatures of habits.
Yes.
Used to one thing, and you just get tired. You just figure it's knowing what you know, and then you just do it. It's like going to work every day. You don't like a job, but you go every day. But we wish you're looking for anybody. You'd be like, man, I ain't got time. I'm gonna do that. She school out and stuff.
I know it's one of those things that I know what I got. I don't know what I'm getting.
You know,
Right.
you know,
Wow.
it's real. It's like real, like right now, real that you asked that question, man. Because you know, in the past few years, you know, I've been trying to, you know, slow down, and I've vested in some people or women that I believed had the potential to be that one, right? Only to find out that I wasn't ready, number one. And each time that I go on this venture or this quest, I see a representative, right? And the representative is presenting me with everything that, you know, my heart's desire, right? And then like halfway on the quest, right, everything changes, right? It was an illusion, right? And now, right, for me, I'm a hero, and I don't mean that in the super sense, if you will, but I like saving people. That's the kind of business I'm in, so therefore that's what I do. So when it comes to terminating relationships, right, I'm more concerned about how you feel about the breakup than I am about how I feel about staying in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it becomes a quandary, if you will, or a juggling act for me, because I don't want to hurt your feelings. right? But I'm hurting mine. So I think because the way
Sometimes you got to be selfish with that, though.
exactly.
Sometimes you
And-
got to be selfish with that.
And my colleague, right, because I drop things because I get stuck. Because I'm a dude that I kind of I'll get into you, right, and don't realize that I sometimes give more of myself than I really need
But
to.
don't we sometimes get involved with people and we think is what we want, and then once we get involved and they sometimes get a little deep into us, then we kind of get into them.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, and you realize this
This is really not what I
wanted.
bargained for, you know.
Right.
And
But the trick, the trick to it, and not even the trick,
I see
basically.
you probably don't have no problem dumping them, right?
No, the trick to it is very simple. Always put yourself in that person's shoe. If they were thinking the same thing I was thinking, would they consider me? Again, I'm about my own best friend, so I asked myself this question:
I agree with him.
Would that person consider me if it came down to the table?
Would they consider
they
Because
consider
me?
me?
I
in
consider
most
them.
cases, women don't.
Well,
When a woman,
that's so stereotypical.
No,
man.
let me explain to you what
Please
I'm
do.
saying, Kenny. What I'm saying is when you in a relationship with a woman and you want to end it and she ain't ready,
It's almost impossible.
it's almost impossible.
Right.
However, when she want to end that relationship, your butt better get over it.
Right.
She be
Now
down
moving
Calvert
on.
Street.
Well,
that's
She be
usually
down
me.
Calvert
Right.
Street.
Right.
On the street.
And
all
you
that
better
money
get
is
over
in.
it.
You know,
That's
I
why-
get that.
that's why I said
I
that.
get that, right, and I believe it to be true as well. And I'm a prisoner of my own heart sometimes, right? And that's why I always generally kept a pay and a spare, right? And the reason I kept a pay and a spare is because I didn't have to focus on one individual, right? And once I seen to start focusing on one individual, right, I kind of get entrapped in my own emotion, right? Not so much as what I feel for you, but what I
Not
think
being
you
a
gon-
bad guy.
Exactly.
Not
right?
being a bad guy.
I'm
Because we
hero.
never want to be the bad guys. We never want to be the bad guys. We always
at least
wanna
most days
exit
I
these
don't, you know what I'm
relationships.
saying?
We always want to exit these relationships without harming people.
You know, I did a show. I did a show
damaging somebody.
with Frank Love, right? And I'm probably gonna screw up the title of his book, but it basically says
How to end a relationship. I bought that book.
how to
It's a good book.
gracefully
End the relationship.
in the relationship, and then what it basically talks about is that we need to discuss how we gonna break up, if that's a possibility. Now, before we get to that point, right?
I like that theory, but it's like having options. I believe in when you go into things and start planning the end, you take away the fun. Because what happens is this: if I say, well, and that's fine. If I say, well, I'm going to get married when I'm young because just in case it don't work out, I'm still gonna get married again. Already, it was done before I walked down the aisle. Because already I'm planning.
I believe in subconscious defeat.
I understand, but I'm planning. For instance, you're going to play a team. Let's say you're going to play a basketball game, and already be like, man, they're going to beat us. So when you get on that court, the defeat is not hard because you're accepting. But if you tell yourself, we're going to work this out. Because what happens is this, though, I sit back and eat and ask old heads, man, how you been married for 30 years, man? How do you do it?
Now, how you be married
Man,
for
for
30 minutes?
That being man, do you feel that marriage
I
is
was
a
married for
necessity?
7.
Do you believe that marriage is a necessity to happiness?
I think it's overrated.
You know, I was married. My marriage abruptly ended. Unfortunately, I never thought about. Although I was engaged twice. As I looked at it, I didn't.
engage her.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept thinking.
Two dudes? No, I'm just saying.
No, twice.
I know, I got it.
No.
You go, girl. Let me see the other hand. She got 2 joints. Bling. Right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, as I looked at it, I said, why am I getting married? Why am I getting married again? You know, I was able to raise my son and daughter, on my own, which I mean, I actually had full custody of them. So I was able to raise them, and I didn't want to rush into.
You agree with me?
I don't know. It
you
may
agree with
happen.
me.
It may happen.
You agree
I'll
with
just
me.
let
You
it
can say
happen
yes.
naturally. But I never was out there. Oh, I got to get married again. Or I just think that
You can
it's
say
necessary.
you agree with me. You can say
Yes,
you
I agree with you.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this: so if you all don't feel like marriage is a necessity, do you think having a partner in your life is the key to happiness?
No.
No, not the kid. No.
No.
Do you think having it? Well, so we all have desires.
Okay, that has one has nothing to do with the other. Kapaya.
Okay. So Well, I know how women get it. I know how, well, okay. All right.
Maybe because I grew up around men that, but
You sound like somebody else I know that love the hell out of, but wow. Okay.
Wow.
yeah.
Oh
I mean,
man, that
Hold
hurt.
up,
Dave.
but hold up,
That hurt. Wow.
growing around man, what I make you? Did I say men are crazy, so you can be crazy like them? Did that men don't like marriage, so you understand how to better things? No, you don't. You're a female, and being a female, you have emotions that run deeper than the male emotions. They always say,
I don't agree with that.
no, when I say you're a female, basically, you can never, let's see how both think like a man, you can never ever think like a brother. I don't care how much book you write, how much brother you have in your life, that's certain characters in the man you can never have.
oh no, I'm not saying. I just grew up around
I'm
a
not
bunch
saying-
of males.
Most girls would say, I don't like a dude, so I really like a dude.
But see, I grew up around a bunch of males, but I learned from them for me to have a better relationship with men. That's what helped me.
The funny part is this, though. I grew around 4 sisters, and I'm still struggling to understand a female creature.
Okay.
Well, because see
Not
what
because,
happens
not
is,
because I'm not. I don't. Go ahead, bro.
I think a lot of times we are overrun with our influences. And what I mean by that is, the morals, the values, and all of those things, right, that make it, an intricate relationship in terms of what I learn or don't learn, right? I think that a lot of times we get jaded by our relatives, siblings, fathers, mothers, of their morals in terms of their value system. And we take on a lot of their stuff. But we're not equipped sometimes, right, to be a part of that same cloth. And when we try to tear away from the cloth, we feel, I believe, some, for lack of a better word or phrase, we feel like we're, what's the word I'm looking for?
Deprived?
Not necessarily depriving, but taken away from the family tradition of nurturing. And what I mean by, and I can't, the word is eluding me right now, but almost like we're going against what our
Your values is valid.
what our heritage could be, right?
Principles and the way you would bring.
Right,
upbringing.
right.
I-
And the
I
word
get
gonna
it.
come to me right in a minute, right? And y'all gonna see me think I got Tourette syndrome when it comes out, right?
But here's the thing about relationships. I think that relationships are important. However, I am not a person that believes that you have to be married to be happy.
Right.
I think that marriage is, for some people, it's a good thing because it
works for them.
because we had a show last month, Kenny, I wish you were here, and it was about monogamy. Is it natural?
We did a show like that.
And the question is, no, it's not natural. Do you?
the answer is it's not.
The answer is the answer for me. It's not natural.
okay.
You wanna get to that point where you just want to be with.
betraying.
You want to get
Our
to that
family
point where
values.
you just want to be with one person. But the question was, is it natural? And no, it's not natural. And I think Shaun brought up good points. Nowhere ever will you ever see an animal be with just one animal.
Right. We are animals, but
Right.
I mean,
You're above the food chain.
Yeah.
Something better.
Right,
No better.
you know,
You know,
but we're supposed to know better.
Right.
And I'm not saying by no means that you're supposed to have 20 different women. I'm saying, is it natural?
Well,
you strive to get to that point where you want to be with one person.
what I was
But
told.
the question was, is it natural? No, it's not natural.
This is what I was
It's not.
told
Right.
by our old head. He said, basically, when God made a woman, I'm gonna go a little deeper. When God made a woman, he took one rib to make a woman, right? And then, so we gotta keep trying that rib until
what
that
you
rib
believe.
fits.
if
So,
that's what you
but that don't mean you gotta have a soul rib. But every rib ain't gonna fit. So you gotta keep going through life looking for that one rib.
So you talking about that one rib?
You keep looking for that rib because
So-
you put it don't fit after 2 years. Get another
Getting
rib.
the rib.
Put another rib in. It don't fit. Get another rib. Until you get that rib that fit, it make you whole.
So is that when they talk about being evenly yoked? No, I'm just saying that's a whole another topic, right? But I want to go somewhere. I'm gonna go anyway. Well, do I have time to go?
We don't have really time.
Oh, we don't have
We'll
time
say
to
that
go.
for another show.
Okay, we'll save for another show.
But listen, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Why Factor. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at thewhyfactorshow@gmail.com. Thank you and have a good night.
Thanks.
you.